Hey, everybody, welcome once again. My gosh, it's so good to see you all here back on Artists on Lockdown, Hanging and Banging. I'm Ron Onesti and Rock and Roll Heaven here in St. Charles, right outside of Chicago at the Arcada Theater. And I tell you what, it's been a long couple weeks. We took a couple weeks off, the first couple weeks off in over 6 months with our show here, Artists on Lockdown, Hanging on and Banging. And I'm going to bring to the stage right now my brothers. The guys have been co-hosting the show with me for all this time, and I've missed them tremendously. This is going to be a huge bro moment right now that you're all going to witness. Let me bring, there he is, Vinny.
Hey, Ron.
Vinny and Carmine. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Hey, bro, how you doing?
Hey,
Now, Vinny,
hey, Ron.
Okay, so wait,
like
Carm,
sure.
Carm, hang on. Let's just get this out of the way, okay? I know it's been 3 weeks, and Vinny's got it all stored up. So hang on, Vin. Let me get in position. Let me grab my ankles. All right, Vinny, give it to me.
All right, I'm going to get you a shirt and I'll send you this shirt.
Let's see. What is Yeah, okay, that's perfect. Good. You know why I like it? It's slimming. I like it because it's slimming, and after the holidays, I could use it.
It's real
But yeah, this is
slimming.
an
Look at
amazing. There's an amazing store by me. I don't know what the name of it, but they've got these weird combinations. And I walked in there and like, holy crap, a Tesla Nelson shirt? That's mind blowing.
Where is it?
Exactly. I was looking at that myself.
So
I thought maybe
There you
they
go.
played together at your place.
so what's the deal with the hats, guys? I feel out of place.
I got to do
hair's
my hair
ripped.
color. And
My hair's wrecked. My hair looks terrible, so I thought I'd wear a hat.
And I was playing I was recording, so I had the headphones on all day.
I see. So you're saying that you're trying to look as good as this whole thing going on. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
I got my Mugsy look now. My Mugsy.
Yeah, then that's a freaking Brooklyn, that's a Bronx Tale look right there.
Hey,
what are
Ron, you
doing
said you
over
missed
here?
us.
What are you doing over here?
I don't think you missed us, Ron. You had 2 weeks off. It was great. Nobody
Yeah.
teased you
No,
about the shirt and all that.
No, honest to God, I really, really miss you. I mean, all kidding aside, again, this has been an incredible experience for me personally, because don't forget, you guys are brothers. You guys, are on the phone with the rock and roll legends on a daily basis. You are rock and roll legends that rock and roll legends look up to. Me, I'm a fan, and to be with you guys every week is one thing. It just blows my mind sometimes to think about that. And then the people we bring on, and the conversations that we
Uh-oh.
had, I gotta say, it's just been an incredible 6+ months for me. It really is.
You're out of sync.
I mean, really.
You look like
We
a
love you.
Japanese movie. He's out of sync.
Oh, really? I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know.
like,
Maybe it's the 2 weeks.
Hi. It's like,
It's like
Hi.
Godzilla movie, an old Japanese movie dubbed in with the English. Yeah, there you go.
that's what Vinny
Hi.
does when the people ask him how to explain why the names are two differently pronunciations. Vinny lets them know.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I just can't imagine. You're thinking about, okay, I'm going to be called one thing. I'm going to be called another thing. Frank is going to be called another thing. And at some point, you had to decide, okay, I'm going to have to spend the rest of my professional life explaining this whole deal. Apparently, it was
Okay.
worth it for you.
We have too.
Yeah,
All right.
unbelievable. Hey, somebody wants that shirt.
Somebody wants a shirt. How do you say
I know.
that
I'm going to
name?
start.
Wow.
We got a merchandising thing going on here. Hey, we got a big show tonight with a lot of rock and roll legends on. So let's
Paul.
Bring him on. Bring him on.
bring them. I'm
Uh-oh.
going to bring them all on at the same time so we can get right into it, because I'm very, very excited about it. So first, these guys, the twins. What can we say about these guys from the 80s? But you know what? There's so much to talk about their history. Gunnar, Matthew, good to see you guys. The Nelsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Carmine,
So-
what you guys doing? Thanks for having us on. And just as a correction, we are nowhere near legends. We are legend larvae. Just to let you know.
You know what?
Legends in
Here's
training.
the thing.
That's right.
That's
You
a good
may
one.
you may consider yourself, but I gotta say, you're getting to the age, bros. Your legendary ages. We all are getting up there.
No, I
Not
was
me.
sitting with a kid yesterday, and he said to me, "Hey, Pop, how old are you?" And I said, "Well, how old do you think I am?" He said, 96. I said, "No, I'm not. I'm 53."
I just
He
look
said,
that way.
It's almost the same thing. So there you
You're not even 96 backwards.
go.
But you know what? You know what I love though? I love the fact that you guys are bringing back
Oh,
Yeah, because last time you guys were by me, you had this nice old thing going on. The hair was all nice and short. Look at this look. Hell yeah.
Well, in the end, look, the secret is the hats. Everybody, we all here, we know this. This is the COVID hat thing. Okay, we've learned when we do these interviews, and you get caught up like Vinny did in the studio today, and you don't have time to like primp like you normally would. You know what? You blame it on COVID, like everything is, and you put on a hat and you just rock it. That's the way it is. Well, for me, it's actually I'm completely bald under this hat. This is just all the hair that's glued onto this hat to put it on.
Can I get one of those? Can you send me one of those hats? Are those hats available online? I might need one of those. So.
That's right. Man, I could make, you teed me up to such great jokes at so many of my fellow artists' expense, and I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going there.
Ron didn't get the email about the hats.
Yeah, Ron, there it is. Hey, he's got a Ted Nugent hat.
Teddy sent me this for Christmas. It says "We the People."
Yeah, good.
I like it.
We the People. Yeah.
That's nice.
Hey, would you guys mind if I do one thing? I know this is your show, but before we go any further, can I just single both of you cats out? Vinny, I've never gotten a chance to meet you before. You can't say that about Carmine. We've hung out just a little bit. But I have to say, this is a thrill for me in particular. I started out as a drummer. And the very first instruction I ever had as a drummer when I started at 6 years old, a few years later, was a book I bought, and I believe it was called Realistic Rock.
Oh, no.
That's Carmine book, yeah.
Is that right?
That's
and I learned how to read. I learned how to read music with that book, and that changed my life. And then I have to say that to date, the single greatest drum fill, in my opinion, in the history of rock and roll, is bar 6.5 of the groove of Last in Line. That is the best drum fill I have ever heard and will ever hear.
Oh, wait, but he got that from me.
Yeah.
Vinny, what was that? What was that, bar 6.5?
In the verse,
unbelievable. Best fill ever. It is the best. So you guys, thank you for all you've done, with your music and everything. It's truly inspiring. Enough of my ass kissing. We're happy to be here.
Well, I was just about to say, I've watched you guys during the 80s and everything, but I'm probably the oldest one here, and I used to watch your dad. I was a fan of your dad, because when I was young, he was like big with the show, and then he became a rock star and shows and concerts, and I saw him many times on TV. Never saw him live, but I always dug him. So when you guys came out in the 80s, I said, that's cool. The kids following in the footsteps, Very cool.
It's really incredible.
There's a new version of Realistic Rock right there.
Look at that.
There it is.
How cool.
That's the one. That is the one.
Did you do that artwork, Carm?
No, actually, my ex-girlfriend did that. It's an oil painting that hangs in our house in New York. And
who was that? Bobby Rock? Who was that?
Look like him.
Looks like Bobby Rock.
I think the version that I got was the one you had a blonde maple drum kit, and I think it was either your Vanilla Fudge kit or the one you did with Rod Stewart. Which one was that?
Oh, that's a double bass.
Well, that was actually, you see that bass drum in the background here?
No, bass drum.
Well, I have the same bass drum here, and that was the bass drum in that book. I have it right over there. I just got it.
Book went up in my music room, so it was awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, that book was still. I just did a new deal with Modern Drummer. We're revamping it. It's all coming out in January, sometime this month, with all downloads, digital downloads, videos, all kinds of stuff. So it's still going strong.
You can send my VIG to my email address for that tee up on that pitch. There you go.
There you go.
But I'm telling you, man, great stuff, you guys, and
thanks.
I feel kind of out of balance here because we're the only two non-Italians in this group right now.
Right now, well, we got a couple other ones that are not Italian coming, but
well, I don't know.
One is Italian, one isn't. One is Italian, and one isn't.
Hey, Ron, we're doing pretty good. Why don't you go get a cup of coffee or something?
Hey, I'm out of here. Listen, I get paid by the question. So
All I'm saying is that we're probably the only two guys in this group that don't have a great grandmother's recipe for like Fra Diablo or CD or something like that.
Diablo.
It's all about the gravy.
Watch out for the Appice Brothers spaghetti sauce going to be coming out this year.
Oh, hell yeah.
Vinny don't even know about it.
I'm in.
No.
I'm in.
Filled with
Hey,
drum
let's,
fills and
Right next
everything.
to the Bon Jovi sauce. I heard that came out too, right? I think
Bon Jovi,
there's
yeah.
But we're talking about doing Ron's meatballs.
Yeah,
I'm
Ron's
telling ya.
meatballs.
Ron's got the killer. Did you guys ever play the Arcada?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well, you know, did you eat his meatballs yet? They're awesome.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We only play the Arcada for the food. It's amazing. I'm joking.
Me
The
too.
food is amazing. No,
Yeah, I can see that.
Me too.
Yeah, they get paid in food.
You
They get
have
paid in
at
balls.
the bar. What's the wine drink? What is the wine drink you have at the bar? There's a special drink. It's unbelievable.
The Flapper
Come on,
Floozy?
At the bar there in the back. Is it a Chianti? Or what is it? No, it's not Chianti. What is it?
Is it
It's
upstairs?
infused with fruit and red wine, and it's amazing.
Oh, it's our Italian sangria that we do.
Sangria. Sangria.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
everybody loves it. It's homemade. It's homemade. Well, I love the fact that you guys coming to the place has always been really, really special. Whether it's the Remembering Ricky Nelson show, your Christmas show. I mean, it's just a great show every time you do it, because not only. I mean, you guys got to understand. I didn't even realize this, but you're talking. We know the 3-generation deal about the whole Nelson family. But Ozzy, actually, I don't know, you probably know this, but he was a band leader originally.
That's right.
And in 1934, they came out with a song.
Yeah.
Number one.
Well, he had a number one in
number one,
1934,
then Traveling Man number one.
Nixon, right? Well, I'm sorry, we got the delay.
So you got
apologies.
three.
What was that question one more time?
Yeah, you come
Well, you got 3 generations of a family that's had number one hits. I think you're the only family, I got to think.
It actually is. It's a Guinness Book record, which I think is pretty cool. But that's how Grandpa Ozzy and Grandma Harry originally met each other. She was actually a rising star that was catching fire a lot faster than he was. He had a big band in the tri-state area, and he was doing pretty well. But his big play was a place called the Glen Island Casino, and that was kind of his first residency with his big band. And this is back in the day of Rudy Valley and all that stuff, obviously pre-World War II. And he was always an enterprising guy. I mean, Grandpa Ozzy wound up writing, producing, editing, directing, and starring in all 435 episodes of Ozzy and Harriet. But he still holds the record still holds the record as the youngest Eagle Scout in history with the Boy Scouts of America at 12. He was the captain of the football team at Rutgers and played quarterback there. And years before, he had that big band. And the big band was interesting because Ozzy Nelson ran a 30-piece orchestra without being able to read or write a note of music. And he never let that stop him.
Oh.
It was just kind of one of those things, I guess they made people differently back then. And he didn't get Carmine's book. He didn't get Carmine's book. But he
should have
actually
got
was
it. I had to give my
He could have called him personally in
Hey,
1934.
did he hear that Phil in Last in Line back then?
Yeah.
I didn't get your grandpa the book, but I did give my book to Fred Astaire.
Oh,
That's
very
pretty
cool. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I got a letter back from Fred Astaire. It hangs in my studio here.
He got a letter back that says, "Please don't send me any books."
A couple of movies with
No,
Steve Rogers.
The letter said, "Did you steal this? Did you steal these book exercises from your brother?"
Yeah. He said, actually, Fred Astaire mentioned that Phil also in Last in Line.
There you go. It's
He
funny
said,
how
"Is that
Well, I'll tell you
Phil in
what,
his
it's
book?"
really something. You got 87 years of Nelson's hits and music, and what you guys have contributed to rock and roll as a family is really just. I think people I don't think they really get to what degree your family has contributed to rock and roll. So it's really something.
Well, I got to say this: our pop was he was a rocker through and through, and when he started, it was real deal rockabilly. His best buddies were Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran. And they wanted him on Sun Records, but travel wasn't what it was. And then he reinvented himself the country rock thing. But he literally lived and died for rock and roll. And he was a great film actor and TV star. And I don't think he ever got the credit for how much he loved music and rock. I mean, there was really only one person who even came close to giving Elvis a run for the money, and that was our pop. He sold 500 million singles in his career. And, he was one of those guys, and it's kind of like almost the family karma. He never got, while he was alive, he never got a Grammy. Our grandfather Ozzy never got an Emmy. It's kind of the family karma, but they seem to really hit what people liked for their generation. And we just, he lost him on New Year's Eve way back in 1985. So it's always a bittersweet thing. We remember the plane going down and we lost his whole band and everything. And, he honestly could have retired and played it really safe, but he just loved music and he loved his fans so much that, I can't believe it's been 35 years. It seems like it just happened, but at least we have the music,
Yeah.
And you know what? That was going to be one of my actual questions. Not to spend a whole lot of time on it, but it is the 35th anniversary of his passing, and that whole. I mean, besides the absolute family tragedy that how old were you guys when that happened?
We were 18 years old, and we were in a really interesting situation for a couple of reasons. We were living with our dad at the time. He was our best friend, great guy, really, really great guy. If you grew up with the show Carmine and you saw it and you wondered if, a lot of times you see people on TV and you wonder what they're like when the cameras get shut off and the crew goes home. He was the most funny, down-to-earth, awesome guy. He'd be like the person you'd want to hang out with. And on top of it, cool. He was just kind of otherworldly good looking, like next level. Matthew and I remember, like, you always knew when our dad was going to come down to parent-teacher night because the teachers would start primping and all that stuff. And he never really had to try. And I know for generation after generation of people, they felt like they grew up with our father. So when he actually died in the plane crash, it was unprecedented in the sense that they basically let America know before they even let us know. And I was offended, I think, at first for the first 10 years or so until I realized that in a really real sense, millions of Americans felt like they were family, that they grew up with our dad and with the family show, and that the Nelsons were kind of their surrogate family. Yeah, kind of the same rules didn't really apply. They normally say, we're going to withhold the names until we let everybody know what's going on. And I found out about it on KLOS on the radio in LA,
Unbelievable. Wow.
And Gunnar saw it on the television set. So it's one of those things we had a long time. We had to kind of.
Well, what it was like growing up, I don't know if Vinny remembers. I don't know if he was old enough, young enough, but I remember watching the show, specifically watching it a lot of times to see if your dad was going to perform on the show. Like at the end of the show, they'd have him do a song, or he'd be doing a high school dance in the show. And I used to love that when he used to perform in it. Because to me, being a guy that loved music, as one of the things I loved the show for, to see your dad play.
It really was kind of like the first MTV, if you really think about it. Because when he started doing this, like now, it's like really typical. I mean, people playing music on television, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
But back then, it was still considered race music. So, I mean, it was really salacious. They couldn't even refer to it as rock and roll on TV because the censors wouldn't allow it. You had to refer to it as rhythm and blues. And so he was the right guy on the right show to smuggle rock and roll into mainstream American living rooms at a critical time in its history. And there were so many musicians who I talk to nowadays from, gosh, man, like people like Brian May and Tony Iommi and Jimmy Page and all these cats that remember seeing those early shows and listening to the James Burton guitar playing and watching the girls scream and squeal when he was up there singing. And they went, man, that doesn't look so bad. I want to do that. And that was pretty good.
Let me ask you guys a question. I'm going to talk about in a little bit later in the show. We're going to bring our other guests on in a minute. But I wanted to ask you guys, since we've worked together so many times, and I've always wanted to ask you, you're obviously so connected to your father, not only back then, but I'm sure to this day. And every time we talk about your father, every time I see interviews that you guys talk about your dad, you just seem so connected. Has there ever been a moment when you guys were performing on stage and all of a sudden you saw him, you felt him, he was right behind you, you felt his presence more so than any other time?
I think we're both going to have different answers to that, Ron. I mean, I know right away what my answer to that was. I was up in Canada playing at a place called the Falls View Casino. Great room up there. I'm not sure if you cats have played it or not, but big old place,
Like 3,000 seater.
yeah, and it was our father's birthday, and there's a song in the show that we do called "Just Once More" that we kind of wrote as a tribute to him and the experience that we felt when we lost him and what we learned from it. And that was really, honestly, the first time in my career I haven't been able to get through a song. I got about 3/4 of the way through, and I saw that look in his eyes, and I had to take over the vocal that he normally did and stuff, which is good because we go into battle with a spare. So that's okay, you know? The show must go on and all
Yeah,
that.
right.
For me, you know, when we lost our pop, we were living with him up on Mulholland Drive in Los Angeles at a house that used to be owned by Errol Flynn, a film actor in the 30s.
Wow.
And you could see down into the valley, beautiful. I mean, the
Zorro.
whole lights of the San Fernando Valley, and right below you could see the what used to be called the Universal Amphitheater. And
Yeah.
we went to see a lot of shows there. I mean, our first show besides our dad was, I remember Linda Ronstadt when it was an open air amphitheater, and she was in a Boy Scout uniform, and she was my first crush. She was awesome. And through the years, everybody from Steve Martin to Devo to any rock show that came through, and our dad played a couple of shows at the Universal. It was kind of like the cool place. And he did, the last time we ever saw him perform was a double bill with Fats Domino. And,
nice.
you know, he went out on the road. We were supposed to go with him on that Christmas tour he didn't come back from. And the very last minute, he told us to stay home and that he'd see us when we got back. And we lost him. And 5 years later, almost to the day, Gunnar and I, we sold out the Universal Amphitheater in about 5 minutes. And I remember being on stage, you know, quite literally thinking about him standing in the same exact spot 5 years earlier. And I felt him on stage that night. You know, we always said the one bittersweet thing. He saw us play, and he was really happy that we're musicians and players. We had some great moments where we connected that, you know, most people don't. But it was always kind of that bittersweet, boy, I wish Pop could see this. And that's when I realized he did. He was seeing it. He just wasn't there. So.
No, man, that's really something. You know, you guys are so proud of your father and so proud of what he accomplished, and you know, just you know, a lot of us have obviously have dads that were in the business, and but you guys always seem to bring him with you every time you come. You just seem like you bring him with you. So congratulations on.
We are on. Thank you. We're really
that,
glad.
guys. Hey, we're gonna bring to the microphone our two other guests. Oh, go ahead.
Please, yes. please do. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, we got our guys from Tesla. I'm really excited to have these guys as well. Brian Wheat, of course, Troy Luccketta, our Italian cousin here. Welcome to the show, guys. It's so nice to see you guys again. Last time I saw you guys, you sold out 2 days here at the Arcada Theater. It was outstanding and just great to see you guys.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Doing just for the record, I'm Italian.
Come on.
All right.
My grandparents are from Calabria.
No.
I'm half Italian, but it's in the book about being the milkman's son.
It's in the book. That's what I kept saying. It's in the book.
Wheat's not my real name, man.
That is awesome. So what's the real name?
My dad was English and my mom was Italian. The real name was Ferran.
And how about your mom's name?
Bona.
What happened?
Bona.
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 Is that B-U-O-N-A?
B-O-N-A.
Yeah, Bona.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
La Bona.
Rosario
Bona. You gotta have the hand.
Rosario Bona was her name.
Now
That's
I'm getting hungry again.
fabulous. Well, Gunnar and Matthew, you guys are minorities here tonight. Sorry.
Wow.
That's all right, man.
I'm only half, so.
Well, you
It's
know,
okay.
we know
I'm just gonna talk to that half tonight, Brian. Okay.
Well, the good half is Italian.
The good half, yeah.
And we
So,
know Lucketta's Italian.
Luccketta.
Luccketta.
That's right, man. And you know, my screen just went blank. I don't know what's up with this program, but I can still hear you guys, so it's still good.
Oh, really?
Well, we can see you. We can see
you.
you.
We can see you.
Then
We
I'm
can
still
see
in
you.
the
So
game.
don't pick your nose.
So let's talk real quick, Brian. Real quick, I do want to touch on the book. It's a fabulous book. I know it's getting a lot of press. How's it going for you?
It's going very good. I've been doing a lot of interviews and press the last 3 weeks or so.
Good. That's what you got to do.
Are you,
because, once the press stops, the book stops. You know.
Right.
Absolutely. Give us a couple. I'm dying to hear what this is. This a tell-all? Is this a little bit more about the music side of things? Give us a couple of little tidbits here, Brian.
Well, it's basically it's about my life, and obviously Tesla being a big part of my life. In terms of the Tesla stuff, I think the thing that I want everyone to get, and I think it comes across in the book, is that we're survivors. You know, we've been doing it 36 years. We've been a band, and we broke up, and we got back together, and we've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and we're still doing it. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of. There's that part of the Tesla book. It's not like a definitive story of Tesla. It talks about me and some of the things that I have to deal with being, you know, in a rock band and having autoimmune disease and health issues and touring and all those kind of things and how it affects me and anxiety and depression. So I wouldn't say it's a tell-all book at all, but there's a lot of things about Tesla in the book.
Good to hear. How about you,
Good.
Troy? What
Sounds
you been
good.
up to during this crazy lockdown time?
Who
Hello?
are you talking to?
Troy.
What?
Thank you. I can hear you.
What you been up to?
I've been up to many things. You know, the lockdown thing for me. I mean, you know, Brian knows we haven't had a break in 20 years. This is our first real break, and you know, thank God we've been able to work. And you know, prior to the breakup, you know, we had 10 years before that. So having this time to kind of reset, you know, and reevaluate, spend time at home. A lot of changes for me. I brought my daughter out from New York about 5 months ago. She just turned 18, and you know, so I would have been gone for that, and I needed to be here for that. So that has worked out really great.
Cool.
I've also finished my studio. I've got a recording studio. I've been able to get up and get working. And just spend time at home. I've done a lot of different projects for people. You know how we are. We're survivors. We got to find things to do. I've got a few projects on the side, you know, and just I'm making the best of the time, you know, that for what it is, you know, and just staying away from, you know, the politics.
Yeah. That's really, really smart. I mean, you know, without getting too deep into it, obviously yesterday was really, really challenging. And I tell you what, I'm not getting political at all because we don't do that. But, you know, maybe hopefully there's an upside to everything. And maybe, just maybe, what happened yesterday, it seemed like it was somewhat kind of getting the country together again a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to open up that door.
You know what I'm saying? Because people are all freaking on both sides of the table. Like, wait a second, what's going on here?
Just don't talk to Ted about it.
Yeah.
No, I know. No, I learned that the hard way.
We'll leave that one.
Absolutely.
But I want to say really quickly, you know, I can't see you, Vinny, man, but it sure is a pleasure to be on here with you. I get a chance to talk to Carmine a lot, and we've never spent a lot of time together, but huge fan as well, man. I've loved your work over the years, and for all of us to be still in this business and still doing what we're doing, you know, we're all absolutely very blessed. So I don't take any of that for granted. So
Thank you, Troy.
happy to be here.
Vinny, I got a question for you.
What's up?
This is Brian.
Yeah.
Is that you in the slipping and sliding video of John Lennon?
Yes.
That's so. Can I say fuck on here?
Really?
You can't say can't. You can say fuck.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
Vinny,
was looking at that the other day because I'm doing a version of a Little Richard. Gonna rock it up and roll the night. And I was looking at John Lennon videos, and I said, "Man, is that Vinny on the drum?"
Yeah. I was
Did you
16
play on
years old.
on the record
16.
as well?
No, we just did. We actually did. My band did hand claps on whatever gets you through the night on that song. That's how we met him, and we rehearsed at the Record Plant Studios, and that's where we were managed by the Record Plant Studios, so we were there all the time. And he started hanging out with us, coming up to the rehearsal room, and then he asked us to do that show. That was his last live appearance on that show.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I didn't know that until a couple of years ago, and I'm like, I played the last live appearance of John Lennon.
Wow.
It's stupid. And I used to go to high school the next day.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, and Carmine, Standing in the Shadows of Love.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Amazing.
That was good.
It's
That
in
was
my
good.
workout playlist, and that
really? Oh,
is
good.
so funky, man.
We are a noisy family.
Yeah.
Carmine and I.
Noisy family.
Carmine,
They play the
have
drums,
eight drummers.
too.
We
And
have
they play
7
the
or 8
drums, too.
drummers in our family. I'm watching that video now. Eddie.
Carmine,
Yeah.
do you remember going to Dwayne Hitchings' house and meeting me and Troy when we were young?
Yes, I do. I just talked to Dwayne a couple of days ago, actually. I remember Dwayne sort of discovered you guys.
Yeah, he did one of our first set of demos.
That's right. He did.
You guys, we've got drummers on our show. More often than not, we've got drummers. We've got several on tonight, and we just have to tip those hats that you have on. This is actually the 1-year anniversary today that we lost Neil Peart. So
it is today.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It is.
All right, Ron. No drummer jokes either.
January 7th of 20. So we got to do a little tip of the hat to Neil. Did any of you get a chance to meet him at all?
Nope.
Yeah, I met
Vinny?
him once. I met him once.
You met him.
Nope.
Yeah, I met him once.
Was he an intense guy? I hear he was an intense guy, and I guess it's exemplified by his kit, right?
Pretty laid back, actually.
Turn that phone off.
Jeez, we got.
I did. Hey, I turned it off for my new Apple Watch.
Good.
No, he was very quiet, actually. I mean, we were watching my friend's band, Malcolm Mendoza, with Joey Heredia. They're like a Latin jazz rock thing they used to play at the Lavalley in L.A. And, when they play, they're so rhythmical. They're so good.
Yeah, they're great.
You can't,
Amazing.
sit still. And he came in, and he just sat there like this, here's my hand, like this. Not even like this. So I said, man, he's got to be tapping his foot. I looked down at his foot. He wasn't tapping his foot either. So I didn't know what to make of it, But he was nice to me. He told me he was a fan of mine with PBA, with Jeff Beck and all that. And he was always seemed to be a nice guy, But I've never really gone beyond that. I never met him after that,
Yeah, I have never met him.
2020, very tough year, obviously, for everybody, but 30th anniversary of After the Rain, guys. You came out with a remastered album. I love the vinyl. I love it. How's it going with the remaster?
Who are we talking to?
Gunnar and Matthew.
Thrilled to actually find. Yeah.
We got it.
We were thrilled to actually find the analog master tapes that were missing for 25 years. And we heard about the fire that Universal, who wound up with all the early Geffen recordings that we were on. There was a big warehouse fire, and there was a lot of.
We lost
them.
them. No, that's what's going on. I was going to say we're.
All right, so we'll get them.
We'll
We'll get them back on. But it's interesting that they're.
It's happening to you,
touched
too.
on
got his dog on.
2008 Universal fire. Oh, there you go. Look at that. It's interesting that they were. Well, hang on. There they go.
And now, appearing.
There they are. Here we go.
What, did I say something on Facebook? They just
Yeah, right.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you
I'm
got
gonna hang up and call back, man.
Yeah.
You guys
Tweet
are just
something
touching
about-
on that.
Sorry.
You guys are just touching on that 2008 fire at Universal Studios, and I believe these guys could talk to it as well. I think Tesla lost some tapes as well.
Yeah, they
Yeah, well,
told
we
me
don't
that,
really know the extent of it, guys, because let's just say that our name was on a list, our father's name was on a list, and it was the list that they had submitted to the insurance.
as total losses. And then
Yeah, but they haven't
we,
paid
we,
us.
of course, like everybody, tried to find out what the story was, and lo and behold, the analog unused master for After the Rain showed up in another box, but we still have yet to see the track separation tapes.
Yeah,
So
we found the unmastered 2-track master, but we don't know if the actual session tapes, the 24 tracks, actually survived or not. But they've been really workable with us, and we're hopeful that we can do that because we got some plans coming up this next year. We just did a catalog deal with Universal for the entire Nelson catalog. It's actually 24 records. In our career, they only had the first 3. They had After the Rain, Because They Can, and Imaginator, which were our first 3 albums. And they did a deal for the rest that we had all these years on our own label, which is Stone Canyon Records. And part of that was to put out, they're giving us some leeway because of COVID for an anniversary year, for the 30th anniversary for next year. We get a do-over. So we're hoping to come out with a new Nelson record as well that we've already got in the can. And we're just pretty excited, man. It's like you guys said, we're just happy to still be doing this for a living all these years later. Yeah, we're all survivors and we're all brothers, even though we're not brothers. We know the drill. And we were just kind of talking about everybody's, off camera, we were talking about, everybody's collective contribution to the soundtrack of our lives. We're just honored to be, in this company right now. I mean, Troy and Brian, Mechanical Resonance was on endless loop in our old Mustang for 2 solid years. And when we were making our first record that we had some success with, the soundtrack that we were listening to going to and from the studio every day was your album. It was so inspiring. And here we are all these years later. I'm totally germing right now. It's a Nashville term, but it means kind of like, I got all your record. But man, I'm just stoked to be on this call with all of you guys.
I know, and Gunnar was also mentioning too, people don't know this, but Vivian Campbell played with us before he joined Whitesnake and was coming off of, the drill stuff. So that was playing in the car as well. So, we're connected to everybody. And of course, Carmine, we used to see everywhere because we lived in LA forever. And Carmine, I think there's 3 or 4 Carmines.
I think there are 3 or 4 Carmines that actually work every room in town simultaneously.
That's right.
I think that's
He's
what happens.
everywhere. Ubiquitous, which I love.
Oh, thank you.
Funny. Yeah.
So you guys,
Let-
hey, Troy, you guys and Brian. Oh, Brian, I just want to finish on the. We're talking about Universal Studios Fire. I mean, they said it was like almost 200,000 different tracks were lost. I don't know if that's true or not. But how did you get your experience with that? How did it affect you guys?
They told us that our masters were lost in the fire, but they didn't tell us that they collected the insurance on it.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And, they owe us money, boys. Those are our masters. And, that's a separate phone call. But,
Right.
that's how I found out about it. Our lawyers called me and said, hey, you are aware that this has gone down.
Wow.
That's going on 13 years. Something's got to happen
But
soon.
I'm pretty sure that those record companies owe all of us money on this screen
Oh, yeah.
from
Absolutely.
some point or another.
Wait a minute. A record company owes us money? What?
No, they don't.
I don't know about that. Oh, God.
I don't know how you guys deal with that.
When we got into business, there wasn't anything such as a CD. Used to get like 25 cents per record on an album. It was ridiculous.
I like when I
I
sometimes.
remember when I was in Vanilla Fudge, we had like 3 albums in the top 20 and the top 5 single. And I remember getting one royalty check for about 70 grand for the whole band, right? That's the only royalty check I ever remember getting, so.
So Carmine, you handled
changed.
a lot of the business back then.
No, I didn't actually. I had a mafia manager.
Which
As a matter
one?
of fact, Phil Basile, he used to own Concerts West and Concerts East rather, but he was connected to the Lucchetta family. And when you see Goodfellas, Henry Hill used to come to our house and sell us stuff. Hey, come on, I got this 2 Reebok machines. They just fell off a truck. How much? $100 each. I'll take two. What if they break? I'll give you another one. You know, and then the guy Paulie, the Don in there was in jail. And we used to go, you know, drive, and our manager said, if Paulie ever sees you and invites you to the house, you got to go out of respect. So a couple of times, me and the guitar player Vinny from the Fudge were driving in my XKE, and they pull up, hey, Carmine, Vinny, come on over to the house. Right, we go over the house. They got armed guards out there, and we went in. We had a drink. We couldn't wait to leave, you know. But so when that movie came out, Goodfellas, you know, it was all about all those guys. That a lot of them we knew, and I think the scene where they burned down the club, I think that was my manager's club.
No, really.
That represented his club.
Action House. The
Action House. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to jump in again. Coming back to what the twins were talking about, the soundtrack, you know.
Yes.
It brings me back to, I remember hearing Beyond the Universe, Derringer Live, Vinny. That was so stupid because you played it on the up, you know.
I know, yeah.
You know, I was like, what the hell is he doing? Because I always heard it, you know, bam, 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 you know, it was on the flip side of that thing. And then the other two.
Wait. Are you talking the 2/4 or the quarter notes?
Yes, and the other two records that are part of my soundtrack is,
I know, right?
yeah, right. Ironically enough, would be Footloose and Blondes. And I got to see Carmine back in the day, you know. And it is. I love you, honey. But you know, it's interesting to look. You know, we have a lot of history here, all of us, because we've all been doing this together for 30 years plus. I mean, we don't know any. I mean,
me and Vinny together are 100 years.
Yes, I would imagine that'd be true.
150 years.
Who's older?
Everybody here.
Same thing for me and Gunnar.
Vinny, I've been in this business 55 years now. My first hit record was 1967. Vinny's, what was yours? First hit record? Derringer. What year?
Derringer came out 76.
70,
John Lennon 75.
Okay, so 75. Right, so 25. That's 45, and my 55. That's 100.
That's 100.
You guys, how long for the Tesla guys?
37 and 37, 74.
74. Okay, and you guys, Gunnar?
Yeah, like I said, we're the new kids on the block, only 30 years apiece.
Okay, well, I think we give them the 87 years, though, of the family.
Yeah, well, there's two of them, so that's 60. So now we're up to like 220 years of experience, and in the record business here.
Right here.
Pretty funny.
I think the main thing is that we're all fans of music, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
We love to play.
I mean, and coming full circle, guys, Gunnar and Matthew, I heard part of your new album last year. It's amazing.
Good.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, we
and you look at everybody sitting. Look at everybody sitting. You're sitting in the studio, Brian, are you?
I'm sitting in a media room, yeah.
Yeah. Troy, you're in the studio.
Yeah.
Vinny's in his studio. I'm in my studio.
Gunnar's in there.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are, but you know, that's you know, four out of five are sitting in studios.
Yeah.
Except
are you guys
Ron.
going to be?
Except you, Ron. You're in the venue.
We're in the
venue.
Studio too. We're in our studio.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Goes to show you. So.
Well, this is my studio, so it's kind of the same.
I guess it is. Yeah.
That's where you do your creations, right?
It is, man.
Yeah.
It is.
And
Hey,
meet
guys,
the balls. And meet the balls.
balls. Hey, Gunnar, Matthew, you said you're working on, or you completed a new Nelson album. Notwithstanding COVID, are you going to be touring as Nelson?
Oh yeah, heck yeah. I mean, look, we've all, COVID's not going to stop us. We just don't want to stop our fans. We've already had it and gotten over it. We're fine with it. So we just want to get back out and get to work. But we got two different things cooking on this nostalgia side of things. We've got a new Nelson record that we mentioned that we've already got in the can that we're ready to do with Universal. And we also have a brand new project we've been spending the last 3 years putting together and got to finish during these this COVID time off, which is called Firstborn Sons. And it's our country rock band. It's best sonically. It's kind of like a cross between the Eagles during the Joe Walsh era and Leonard Skinner, and that's what we're working on.
Cool.
Wow.
Sounds good.
Lots of guitar.
Lots of stuff. I mean, you guys have reinvented yourself so many times. You know what? I actually really shouldn't say reinvented, because you didn't really change direction or change scope. I mean, you took what makes you guys up, whether it's your history, whether it's your dad's history, the country thing kind of throws us off a little bit, though, which is awesome. But how did that all happen?
It shouldn't. Ron, it shouldn't. If you think about it, we grew up during the Rick Nelson era. It was the second phase of his career. He pushed our cribs aside to rehearse his Stone Canyon band, which the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame gives credit as the first true country rock band. He had an original Buckaroo, Tom Brumley on steel, replacing James Burton on guitar. And it was the first time anybody really put like a Marshall half stack on the same stage next to a pedal steel.
Well, Randy Meisner was our dad's bass player in the first Stone Canyon band before the Eagles. So that whole Southern California, turn up the guitars, it was, I guess it had some country elements in it. But I guess, of course, it wound up peaking with what, the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt put together. Those were all kick-ass rock and roll musicians playing country. Yeah. And that's kind of what we put together here, too.
It's just like Vinny. It's just like Vinny. He's got a lot of country in his playing.
What country is that?
Yeah.
I got your country right here.
There's an old story of Buddy Rich, right? He went in the hospital, and the nurse said he's going to have a surgery. And he said, "Mr. Rich, are you allergic to anything?" He says, "Yeah, country music." Let's forget that. What a story, But that's great. I mean, you guys have had a great career.
I'm just curious. We've been talking to some of the guys.
We kind of really focused on our vocal sound too, and singing together. So that was pretty much that, and a great song. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
You guys, going back obviously a little past your time, or before your time rather, but Laurel Canyon, and we're talking a lot of people kind of experienced that whole situation. Do you remember anything that your dad may have mentioned about the whole Laurel Canyon deal?
Dude, we were in the middle of it. I mean, when we were kids, our next door neighbor was this really, really cool skinny guy. We didn't know what an accent was. We called him Funny Voice Guy. He used to come over and listen to James Burton records with our dad every day, and that was our Uncle George. It turned out to be George Harrison. Mama Cass Elliott was our babysitter. As Matthew mentioned,
Dylan used to come over, various members of the Eagles. I mean, it was the California sound.
I mean, like back then down the hill from our house, there was such a vibrant music scene. They call it the Laurel Canyon sound now, but you had the Troubadour Club, and you had, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Poco, Linda Ronstadt's backing band that wound up being the Eagles, of course. You had our dad's Stone Canyon band, Jackson Brown, Joni Mitchell,
Mickey Dolenz, Peter Tork.
All of those cats were playing down there. Everybody was expected to be able to sing. You had to be able to write a great song.
And they cross-pollinated. Everybody was playing with everybody. It was kind of a music utopia.
Cool.
So when you listen to like early Linda Ronstadt with Waddy Wachtel on guitar, dude, those are rock records, man. And it was every bit as vibrant of a scene. We figured out after all of these years that there are territorial music scenes that pop up every now and again. I mean, you cats from the East Coast, you always had a way of approaching music in rock and roll that was very unique and very different. When our dad was coming up, of course, you had the Sun Records guys in Memphis doing things their way. Our dad, with his friends Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran, were doing a West Coast sound years before the Beach Boys, and then later on with the Laurel Canyon sound. But Matt and I kind of grew up half and half between the whole Laurel Canyon sound when we were little boys
and big rock stuff.
And big rock arena rock stuff. So when Nelson came out first, you could hear that in After the Rain and Love and Affection more than ever. You could hear the background vocals that came from our Southern California background in that whole country rock scene, with the big guitars and all that stuff. It's just the way we always heard music, and it was really unique and different. It didn't have a whole lot of a blues influence to it. It was really more of a Southern California thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, there's so many perspectives on that whole Laurel. I mean, really, you take a step back and think about just oh my gosh, that whole who was a part of that, who was affected by that, who came out of that, the music that came out of that. It's really astounding. Hey, Brian,
that stuff doesn't happen anymore.
Oh.
People getting together and
well, technology
we lost you.
preempts that. You know what I mean? We didn't have that technology back then. Now, I mean, look at us now. We're all zooming. Brian, Troy, any ideas on new Tesla music coming out?
Well, I've answered that a few times lately. The thing is we're scattered all over the country. Troy's in Nashville. I'm in New York or Texas. Frank is in Sacramento. Jeff's in Sacramento. Dave's in San Francisco. And someone suggested, well, why don't you just do music and do it with you in one place and Troy over there and Frank. And the thing is we have to be in a room together.
Yeah, sure.
Playing off each other, whether we record the parts individually or not, we can do that. But to do like our friends in Def Leppard, I was talking to Phil the other day. He said, well, we've been making this record and we're all in different places. I don't think we could do that. I don't think it's our strong suit. We're better when we bounce off each other in a room and then go in and record it. So we haven't had a chance to do that. But I imagine once we get back up and running and we play some shows and get back to some sense of normality, that next step would be to go in and do another record. Wouldn't you say, Troy?
Yeah, it's so this COVID thing hits, right? What people don't know is we have a record that came out this year, which we did live at Abbey Road last year. We were playing the Download Festival. We popped into Abbey Road the day before. We did like a seven camera shoot live. We went through a 90-minute set. It's the 30th year celebration of 5-Man acoustical jam. We did it live. We didn't fix anything. We literally went in, played the set, and we split. Never listened to the playback, and it came out, and it's out. And it came out really great, and it's like, nobody even knows about it.
Right.
It came out the day they said we were on lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, I'm like Brian, man. I'm not interested in sending my tracks in. I'm not interested in phoning. We're a rock and roll band, man. I want to be in a room. I want to be playing live music. And I'll never forget Eric Singer. I was talking to Eric, I think it was a DeGrasso, one of those guys at the time who was with Alice Cooper. No, I think it was Eric. And I remember him talking to me, and I had Damon Johnson at the house, and we were doing a project in Scottsdale, and he was telling me how he was like, playing this new Alice Cooper record, and he was like phoning the tracks in, and I just thought, man, that's just horrible. But I get it, and I know we got to do things like that, and I do stuff like that for people, and I'll send tracks in, and I'll do stuff, but us as a band, I can't picture, if Led Zeppelin, I can't see that. I can't see them phoning it in. Carmine, you guys, I don't know where you guys sit on that fence, but I like personally, I want to be in the room. I want to be inspired, and I got to feed off that energy. That's what, being in a band's all about,
Yeah.
So that's where I was going. I've also had Frank do his acoustic thing, buy me a couple of my clubs, and that was really cool. And you guys are definitely one of the hardest rocking bands out there. I'm on the fan side of things, and when our people found out that you guys are going to be on our show tonight, so many. That's why I asked you, ask them about new music, ask them about the album that came out but didn't come out, kind of thing, because of COVID. So I'm glad you brought that up. But it was really interesting to me how that whole acoustic set that you guys do, being such hard rockers. But then going back and doing the acoustic set, where did that derive from? Is that something you guys just kind of hit you one day?
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, what happened was in 1989, Carmine, you probably remember the Bay Area Music Awards, the BAMIs. You remember that? The San Francisco Bay Area Music Awards that Bill Grande.
The BAMIs.
Yes,
Yeah.
we won a BAMI for Best Rock Album with Great Radio Controversy. And they asked us to play, and our gear was still on the East Coast. So we decided, we'll just show up with acoustic guitars, acoustic bass, Troy play a snare drum, we'll do Love Song that way. And we did. And this woman saw us play it.
Queenie Taylor.
Queenie Taylor, right. She worked with Boz Scaggs at Boz Scaggs Club in San Francisco called Slim's. So she wrote a letter to our manager, Peter Minch, saying, would your band Tesla entertain the idea of playing a 90-minute show acoustically? So he brought it to us, and, this is where me and Troy had this conversation yesterday. How I remember it, I don't know if Troy's going to agree with this, but I remember us telling him no, that we didn't want to do it, that we were a rock and roll band. And I don't think it was me and Troy that said this. This was two other guys that probably played guitar. And that, it wasn't rock and roll. We didn't want to do it. That wasn't, one or two songs is cool. And he was a smart guy, because being the way he was, he said, well, you probably can't do it anyways. You're probably not good enough musically to pull this off. And then we kind of went, well, fuck you, man. Are you challenging us? Come on, man. And at that point, we put together this 5-man acoustic jam set that everyone knows from the 5-man acoustic jam album. Now, long story short, because this could get long-winded, we were out with Motley Crue, and we did the 2 shows at Slim's. And Motley Crue were taking a lot of days off, and we were still a new band. We couldn't afford to take that many days off. So Q Prime said, look, we'll book you 5 or 6 shows acoustic on this tour, and that's how you'll make up the shortfall of the tour, or, whatever, so you guys have a paycheck at the tour. Well, during that, Frank, Jeff, and Tommy went to AAF in Boston to promote. We were playing with Motley Electric. They took a couple acoustics, and they sang Signs, which is on that album, live in the studio like we're doing right now, version just like this. Well, they started playing that on the air at AAF in Boston, and it started getting all these phones. So then Geffen said, hey, there's this thing happening in Boston. Can you record that? And we said, well, we recorded one for just to have, so we know. We recorded the last show in Philadelphia, which wasn't the best show by far. It was the worst show, probably. But there was a vibe and an honesty, and I think that's how it connected with people. So we said, we have this. They said, can you do an EP? We said, yeah. We mixed up 3 or 4. They said, we really like it. Can you make an album? We said, yeah, and the rest just happened. Literally, it happened in a couple of weeks. That thing was, I think we paid $28,000 to make that record, which at that time was unheard of. And with the video, because the video and the mobile truck and everything, I think it was $28,000, and we sold over 2.5 million copies of that record. And we were in the studio recording Psychotic Supper, and they said, hey, your record's going to go top 10. And we're like, what are you talking about? So we didn't know it. It just happened that way. And the funny thing about it is, people say, oh, you started this acoustic thing, Tesla. And we didn't. And my friend Jimmy Page put it best to me. He said, what you did was you were the first band to do an all-acoustic live album. Before Rod did his, before Nirvana, and before Eric Clapton, Tesla did the first all-acoustic live album. But I don't think
That's incredible.
We're responsible for the acoustic thing. MTV was doing that before we
But you know what? I'm not gonna disagree with you, but I gotta say, as far as the acoustic thing as a whole, maybe not. But rockers who have latched onto it, hard rockers that have latched onto it, you really were pioneers as far as that direction. You really were.
Well, I think we're good at it. I mean, I without trying to sound egotistical, I think Tesla do our acoustic show very well.
Well, that version,
and I don't know how it happened. It's a gift from God, because it's something that we fell into. We didn't plan on doing it. And I think, when it's all said and done, if they ever mention Tesla in the halls of rock and roll, the one bleep we'll get will be about the acoustic thing. I think that's what people will remember it for. And I think it's great.
Well, if you guys ever go out on tour again doing the acoustic jam thing, and you need a couple of Swedish chick sisters that play acoustic guitars and sing, we're in. Okay.
Well, that's been discussed.
Hey, you can always get me and Vinny. We'll play acoustic drums with Troy.
Yeah, we'll be the brothers, 4 brothers.
And I got a place for you to do it at.
The brothers.
Hey,
we got our first gig, man. We got our first gig.
Let's get, hey, Ron, let's do a week straight.
Yeah.
You know what?
Three drummers and 3 guitar players. That's a good combination.
Here, sign right there. Just sign, and whenever you're ready, here, let's
hey, Ron,
do
you
this.
got the shirt. All you need is the Vinny and Carmine on the shirt. You got the shirt, the event shirt.
Yeah.
10 minutes, it'll be done. I got to say that the love song version, the acoustic version of Love Song is absolutely one of my favorite. I mean, it really, really resonates, and a lot of the fans too. So it's just, I would love to see that. I would love to see that live. I know a lot of the fans would love to see it. Maybe we can do it. The next 2-night thing we do, maybe it's a 1 regular and a 1 acoustic. That would be really cool.
Well, we were talking about that with this record that Troy just talked about with the live at Abbey Road thing. We were talking about, doing some shows. We had this Alice Cooper tour booked. And then we were going to maybe do some acoustic shows to go on with the release of this thing. But like Gunnar and Matthew said, we kind of maybe get a year do-over, hopefully. And maybe that's what we do this year.
Who's the promoter in the band?
The promoter?
Yeah, Troy. He just went and got the album cover.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Hey,
you guys.
Troy, when you were at Abbey Road, did you do the cross the street thing?
Look at this. Hang on.
We did.
I did.
And listen, guys, listen,
check it out.
They wanted to put it on the back cover, and I said no.
Oh,
No.
that's great.
No, we did it. There it is.
I finally got to see that this last year. Love it.
But Brian, were you? Did you walk across? Did you walk across barefoot?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Yeah,
You're true.
We did, and I was out of step in the whole thing. But when it's funny, we were putting that together. I remember having a lengthy conversation with Frank Hannon, and he wanted to put it on the back. I said, Frank, you just can't put it on the back cover.
Why not?
Because it's sacrilegious,
Oh. It could have been conceived as it could be thought of as a tribute.
It could be like a joke, right? Like Spinal Tap or something.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's a tribute.
Salute. It's a salute.
I don't know, Troy, where were you on that? Did you want it on the back too?
No, I did not. I was with you, Brian. I did not want it. I thought it was.
I just think there are some things that are sacred, and I'm of the opinion on the 8th day God created the Beatles.
There you go.
Okay, on the 9th day he created Jimmy Page. On the 10th day he created Freddie Mercury, and on the 11th day he had to rest again. Okay, so
Hell yeah.
when you come to that school of thought that the Beatles are the pinnacle of it all,
Yeah.
and there's something that is the most iconic photo probably ever taken in rock and roll is that crosswalk photo.
Mm-hmm.
At least the top 2 or 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you go, guys, please don't put it on the back cover. Put it anywhere you want, but just not on the back cover.
How about on a T-shirt?
That'd be fantastic.
Oh, there, Ron. There you go, Ron.
I really believe on the 10th day.
It's the T-shirt.
I believe on the 10th day he put on a show. That's what happened.
Well, we got to break this COVID thing, see? And if you put on a week-long show, we're there.
Don't tease me like that, Brian, because I'm calling.
Hey, I got an idea.
Tomorrow morning.
Ron, I got a great idea. You do the show, and you have the people right there giving the vaccines on the way in.
Yeah, there you go.
And the mask. And the mask, right?
And the mask.
Anybody walks into my place and just gonna do a shot of limoncello. That'll get them. They'll be fine.
That's right.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, guys, you know what? You know we're all going to have to probably take this vaccine.
Oh,
Yeah.
Especially if we want to go back to work.
I already ordered my appointment here in Florida. If you're 65 and over, you can get the vaccine. So I'm waiting to hear back from them.
I know, guys, but I know, but they're not going to let us play if we don't take it.
Yeah.
I'm
almost
sure of it.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's just
Well,
like
I just hope.
my son's in
Well,
medical
then it's
in
been nice
California. He had to take it. he had to take it in order to work. You know.
Well, you guys, listen, I can't thank you guys enough for being on our show tonight. Gunnar, Matthew, you guys, I mean, it's always so good to see you guys. We're looking forward to 2021. Look at that. Brian, Troy, we just hope you guys have a great year as well.
Hey, wait, I got a hat since you guys all have hats. I went and got one.
Oh, that's good. How about this?
Back in the album cover.
How about this for an image?
There you go. The Invisible Man.
Yeah,
drummer.
I think they've already used that. Prince had that in his band, right? The dude that played
There's my
keyboard.
face mask.
That's funny.
There you go.
I like that. I like that.
That's an even better album cover. Hey, man, safety, God's blessings to you guys, good health. Want to thank Steve Love, Ben, our producer. You guys out there, make sure you
Next
share. Make sure you like us. Yeah, next week. How about it, Carm? A really big show as well.
We got Skunk Baxter. We got Buck from Blue Oyster Cult.
Buck
We got
Dharma.
Richie Kotzen from Winery Dogs and Poison. And we got Corky Lang. We're going to do a bit of a Leslie West tribute at the end. So we're going to Corky on. And I think Bumblefoot's going to chime in as well.
He's getting to be a regular, Ron.
Yeah, you got to have regulars, you know.
Why not?
Mr. Hot
Hey, you
Sauce.
guys. Thank you all very much.
He's a Hangin' and Bangin' contributor.
Yeah, we gotta start having credits at the.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Cool, man. Hey, thank you guys.
Thank you guys very much. Everybody stay safe. See you next Thursday.
Stay safe, bros.
Great seeing you all. God bless.
Talk to you, Troy. Talk to you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Lots of love.
Yeah.
Hey, Vinny, I'll call you later.
Make sure you like, make sure you share, tell everybody all about Hangin' and Bangin', Artists on Lockdown. We see you here every Thursday night with my brothers, Carmine and Vinny. Have a great week, a safe week, and a healthy week. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.